G'day everyone, Mike Bury here. It's time for Q&A where I answer your questions from Instagram. Today we have all kinds of game improvement questions, so make sure you stay to the end. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to join this community. Now, before we get started, I have a quick question for you guys. What age were you when you first started playing golf? Drop your answer in the comments down below. Okay, let's dive into the question. Question number one from ABRYN_13. You had no name on your account. How should I adjust for a ball above or below my feet? Well, the ball above your feet much easier than below. So when it's above, you can stand a little taller with your upper body, keep the chest away from the ground. You can choke down the club. That's very easy. In terms of ball below your feet, I actually made a YouTube video on this, which I will link down below. It's a little trickier. Obviously, we can't extend the club. We can't hold any further up the club to make up that difference. So we need to make up the difference somewhere. Now, we can't bend forwards more with the upper body because that's going to put more weight down the hill. We're going to have a chance of losing our balance. So what I typically recommend is standing a little wider and increasing the knee flex. You're going to feel a little squatty, but that's my best advice for hitting those downhill shots. But watch that video on YouTube. Okay, question number two. This is a two-part question from Timothy. Do you actually use hybrids to punch balls in from outside of the green competitively, or is it just a tip you provide beginners to simplify the game? If you're talking about punch shots from trees, then definitely, yeah, I'd use a hybrid for sure. And if you're talking about chip shots from around the green, boy, it is so much easier, particularly winter time when we have the winter lies, using a little hybrid, kind of like a putt shot, a little putt from around the green, absolutely love it. The winter lies here get very tight. The dormant Bermuda grass is not easy to chip from. So if we can take out some of the ground contact, then happy days. And if you can hear some snoring right now, that's my dog Kira, who's sitting underneath my feet. When the grass gets a little longer, fluffier, the fringe grass, if the ball gets up against that collar, again, I love to use that hybrid. So yes, absolutely. It's not just something I teach to simplify for beginners. I think it's really good advice for anybody. Okay, next question. Alan Wilson asks, how do I develop a plan for actually getting better? Not just fixing a flaw, but getting better. This is a very good question, and let's get into it right now because this is something important for everybody. Now, depending on how much time you have, we have to figure out what are the parts of the game that you need to address. Everybody should have a checklist, and on that checklist there's going to be things that we need to work on in order to improve our weaknesses. There might be technical issues that we need to address. So there'll be some technical items on that checklist. Now, outside of that, we have to consider all of the skill aspects of the game. So we have putting, chipping, pitching, all that good stuff. But within each part of the game, there are the skill components. So let's look at putting. We have putting speed and putting accuracy. In chipping, we have proximity to the hole, we have carry distance control. All of these things need to be addressed. Now, let's be realistic. Obviously, you don't have unlimited time. So you have to prioritize with all these checklists. Where do we need to start? What do I have time for this week? What did I do last week? Did I really struggle with my lag putting? Did I three putt a lot? I'm going to have to move that up the list and maybe drop something else off that doesn't need the attention right now. So I would say, to simplify, create a checklist. What do you need to do specifically to improve? And then beyond that, the parts of the game that we always need to address, what do I have time for this week? That might be a little bit of a vague question for now, or a vague answer for now, but you can also join Mike Bury On Demand for some really good practice tips. Just saying. Okay, next question. Let's see. We've got Freddie here. Recommended 3-day golf camps. I'm guessing you're talking about golf schools. In terms of golf schools, absolutely, no question. Martin Chuck, Tour Striker Golf Academy. I'm linking him down below. One of the best in the world when it comes to golf schools. Absolute legend. Andrew Rice, make sure you check him out as well. Also very good. And of course, Jim McLean, very well known for doing golf schools. And of course, you could see this guy here as well. Linking all of those down below. Okay, next question. Aparaja, and I'm sorry if I totally butchered that name. How can I get the club face from being shut at the top? Shots are hooking a bit too much. The SWINGYDE is a great training aid, and it's going to pop up somewhere on the screen right here. I'm going to link it down below. It's one that I've used for forever, and this is a really good training aid. It's been around for a long period of time. Basically, the idea with this is at the top of your swing, it needs to connect to your lead forearm. If you are closed or open, it will not connect. Online, Amazon has some cheap knockoff ones. Avoid those. They are no good. Typically, the plastic on those is actually too hard. It's really hard to get on the club. So I would definitely recommend you buy the original SWINGYDE. Sits in your golf bag. Anytime you need it, pull it out and put it on. The way that you need to put that on is very important. So make sure you follow the instructions, and I'll probably have a video at some point in time on that product because I'm a huge fan. Okay, next question. GM Golf asks, how did you and GM Golf meet? Well, that might be something that Garrett and I jump on the camera and answer next time we are together. Let's do that. Okay, next question. This one is from Max. Is teaching yourself golf possible? This is a good question. It's a little bit of a slippery slope. There's a lot of things you can and do need to learn on your own, but can you really learn the game by yourself? I think you're going to run into a lot of roadblocks and you're going to stall your learning. You know, even for somebody like me, golf is something that I do every single day. I've been lucky enough to be around the best in the world, but I need help as well. We all need help. And fortunately, I can help myself a little bit, but I can't just stand on the range and figure it out. I need to either video my swing or something like that. So can you learn? There's definitely some things you need to learn as you progress, but you're definitely going to need help. Otherwise, like I said, you're going to hit those roadblocks. Sometimes you're going to be working backwards instead of forwards. So find a good coach, get some help, and then figure it out. Okay, next question. This one is from Mikey. Ways to practice aligning body and club face. I have already filmed a YouTube video on that, and I'm going to link it below. This is one of my favorite ways to do it, and I would recommend using some kind of alignment station every time you practice. If you're working on technique, if you're working on skill, shot shaping, that sort of thing, you might not need to put an alignment station down, but every player in the world has issues with alignment. If you can practice with good alignment, the chances of it deviating and then creating a swing issue are minimized. So good question. Check out the video down below. Okay, next question comes from Jay. Which course in Melbourne did you play golf at before relocating to Texas? I was a member at Peninsula Country Club. Incredible place. I'll throw a link down below, but it was just take my word for it. Incredible place. I grew up on the Sandbelt down in Melbourne in Australia, where there are some of the best golf courses in the world. Definitely very lucky. Okay, next question. Frank asks, what's the best thought to start your downswing? Well, the best way to start your downswing is to shift weight or shift pressure to that lead leg, and then you're going to start to rotate. The best thought? Well, that just kind of depends on what you're doing and what your tendencies are. If you already shift, you might need to think about turning. If you don't shift enough and you're kind of a spinner, you might just need to think about shifting and getting pressure over to that lead side. If you have a path issue, you might be thinking about where the hands or where the club needs to go. So the swing thought is going to vary from player to player. I'm going to link a video down below to a YouTube video that I did on how to start your downswing. Make sure you follow Mike Bury Golf over on Instagram to get your questions in. Of course, don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube and join the community. Thanks for watching this video, and of course, until next time, good golfing.